Parties Podcast, WATP.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with Amanda Bynes. She is a child star. So she just started a podcast with a friend of hers who she met in rehab, who's just this rando guy. And they decided to interview this woman who's a tattoo artist, who's another rando. And watch this introduction to the guest. I don't think they're very good at this yet.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Amanda Bynes and Paul Sieminski, the podcast. Today, we are welcoming Dahlia Moth on our show.
Hi, everyone. Nice.
Hello, everybody. Awful. Hi, I am Paul, and welcome to our beautiful guest, Dahlia.
Oh, my God.
Hello. Hi. How are you guys doing today?
Oh, my God. We are doing fabulously. It is so good to have you here.
Thank you so much for being on our show.
It's a bit awkward, I would say. It's a little weird out of the gates. I don't know if Amanda doesn't have her own personality. Maybe no one told her how to do this. She doesn't have a script in front of her.
She looks like she's passed away sitting there, but
she looks terrible, doesn't she?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And it actually, if I were to just see this out of the blue, like in a clip, I would think it's an old SNL skit. And I'm saying old because the guy next to her, the trans Jesus or whatever, the way he's acting looks like he's straight and he's going over the top to be fucking trans.
Yeah.
Am I right? He's like, don't say the quiet part loud.
Well, actually, maybe that's why she looks like she's passed away. She's sitting next to Christ.
And you're going to try and top that in the next hour?
Amanda,
give him the gold up front, you dumb whore.
Amanda, bringing the dancing lobsters.
Sitting next to a lot of dancing lobsters in my neighborhood. Anyway.
Daddy.
So the way this show starts off, Amanda doesn't know how to have just like small talk or introduce people. She gets right into the questions. She seems very nervous about this whole show. So let's get right into it.
Thank you. So excited to be here.
Okay, awesome. Are you ready for the questions?
I think so.
Okay, great. Our first question for you, Dahlia, is what do you do for work and what inspired you to be in that industry?
So she's reading off her phone. Like you can maybe memorize one of the questions and just be like ready to go with it. Act like it's a natural conversation a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know if she's had one of those.
Look at him.
Yes.
Look at him.
Our Lord and Savior.
Watch this. Jesus Christ, what's wrong with this guy?
I just became even more Jewish.
He died for us.
And it wasn't, you didn't think it was going to be that bad, and then he just started talking.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, fucking God.
Yes, exactly. Fucking God.
Why did you have to create this boy?
All right, so we're going to find out this tattoo artist that they're interviewing used to be a model, but she had to get out of that industry because it's just no good.
And originally I was a model, and I didn't really like the message that I was sending with that. It's not a very beneficial thing to the community and society. So I wanted to do something that was a little bit better and beneficial for society. So I wanted to do tattooing.
That's super rad. So
that's incredible.
She's
super
like,
rad anyway.
Being a model is so bad for the community. So now I tattoo things on people's faces. Like, okay, well,
I go on your show with a fur on.
to step up. All right. So here comes the amazing question. What's the favorite tattoo you've ever done? This is a terrible question.
So super small, intricate line work.
Oh, very nice. Yeah. Do you have a favorite tattoo that you've done?
Oh, that one's hard because it's like they're kind of like my kids, you know, like all my little tattoo children. But if I had to pick one,
So we don't know any of her work. No one knows her tattoos. And they go, what's your favorite tattoo you've done? Like, if you were talking to Kurt Cobain, you said, what's your favorite song you wrote? People would relate to that because they know his songs. No one knows what the fuck this woman does. Like, what's your favorite tattoo? Who cares? What's the difference?
It was a tribal that I did. It was around some guy's muscle, and I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A tramp stamp in 83.
They're like my kids. They're like my kids. They're mostly black, and I'm doing them to get back at my dad.
That's untoward.
Jesus Christ.
Speaking of bad questions, this is a doozy right here.
Oh, So, what does friendship mean to you? And
What
what do you
the
appreciate
fuck?
most about your best friend, for example?
What does friendship mean to you?
Okay, before we get into the question, can we just look at this screen for a second about how there's just two people who are hosts and they're just sitting there looking at their phone? Like is this not like the epitome of just millennials? Like, do you have not any manners?
It's true.
Like,
What's
anyway.
that, Drew?
You should.
It's like. Sorry, what were you saying?
Exactly.
I thought you were taking a picture.
man.
I thought you were taking a picture of the super chats, Carl. I'm sorry. There you go. There you go. This guy gets it.
So Amanda asked the broadest question, and it includes a follow-up question within the question.
Yeah.
As if it weren't tough enough to answer.
It's a two-parter.
What does your best friend mean to you? What?
Yeah.
I don't know who this woman is. I don't know her best friend either. What kind of question is this?
She.
So it turns out that this tattoo artist, her best friends are her coworkers. And that's awesome.
So I'd say honestly, my closest friends would be my coworkers. Yeah.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
Sorry, right here. I'm just kidding.
I think it's awesome too. This is incredible.
Could you imagine putting a show out like this on YouTube and not being embarrassed? This is insane. So, Kiki, you were saying you're a fan of Amanda Bynes?
Well, former
Okay.
fan.
Okay.
So I'm not a fan of her at this current state, sitting here with Christ or anything. But she just seems sad. She looks suicidal. I haven't seen her in a while.
Which is oddly attractive to me.
Yeah, so true. That is. I used to be though. Yes, who didn't watch the Amanda Show or all that, right?
I didn't. I was drunk, probably, at work.
Sorry.
Drew, at this stage, you might have a shot with Amanda.
Honestly.
Yeah, that's what I'm holding out for, really.
Yes.
Is like sooner or later, I mean, we work in podcasts. She now does a podcast.
That's right.
We're talking about her. Maybe
She's
she'll hear this.
damaged. You like damaged girls.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
If she's listening, Amanda, call me. Follow me. I'll follow you.
He loves your space buns.
When does Amanda Bynes come on? Who are these?
I know. Who can recognize this person? It's ridiculous.
It's insane.
Now, Gino, you host a show, and you know how to host a show.
Why did you make air quotes? Anyway, go on.
I did not.
Okay,
You host a
okay.
show, and the thing about hosting a show is you have to ask provocative questions to get the guests talking.
Sure.
And boy, does Amanda know how to do that.
So, another question. What motivates you to get up in the morning? Are you driven by relationships, money, or success?
Oh, that's
Those are the three things that get you up in the morning: money, relationship, or success. Two of those are the same thing.
Being a vapid idiot gets me out of bed.
Yeah. What the fuck kind of question is that? And when someone goes, "Ooh, that's a good question," that means it's a terrible question. It's almost impossible to answer.
Like,
The thing that gets me is when obviously people that shouldn't do a podcast, and there's millions out there, start one, they're like, I should do a podcast. I have so much to say. This is her first one, and she has nothing to say. She's reading a phone. I guarantee the second one, she's going to read the same questions over again. She has nothing to say. She's like, hey, so what do you think, Amanda? Hey, gay Jesus is here.
Yes,
You got nothing.
Now, Gino, I know you're like me. You love fun facts.
An alcoholic and a gambler, yes.
Correct. But also you love fun facts. You love it when someone tells you fun facts about themselves. And we have gay Jesus coming in with one for us.
Coming in at number
That's
one.
great.
So, are your family from around Los Angeles? Are they from out of town?
Yeah, so I'm originally from Canada. I'm from Vancouver. So, but my parents live with me, we all live together and in a little happy little family. And then I have nephews and sisters in Vegas. But yeah, we're all very close.
That is so cool. Fun fact about me, the only time I've ever been abroad was to Montreal.
Oh, Montreal.
And it was before you needed a passport.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I was like in second grade, and my parents took me there, and we went to that big tower.
Oh, shoot.
It's called.
So this is the thing that really annoys me. Now, I live in Rochester, New York, which is Canada South. so I know a little bit about Canada. But she goes, I'm from Vancouver. And he goes, oh, I've been to Montreal. Do you know how far apart those places are? Hey, have you been to that place in Montreal that I went to? She's like, I'm from fucking Vancouver. It's not anywhere near Montreal, you idiots.
He actually like he was couldn't wait to say that to her. He asked the question to tell her that because he was like, "Oh, is your family from Los Angeles or from not Los Angeles?"
Anyway, fun fact about me.
I wasn't listening, but actually, I never left.
Where are you from? Because I'm from the sky.
So Amanda wants in on this Canada talk. She can't wait to get her 2 cents in on this.
My grandma and grandpa were from Toronto, Canada, actually.
Oh my gosh, I didn't know you were Canadian.
Yes, I am. Yeah.
We gravitate towards each other.
Exactly.
Absolutely love that.
My grandma and grandpa are from Toronto, Canada, actually. Is this a robot? This is an AI Amanda Bynes, right? This can't be a real person talking.
It's all the lithium.
Is anyone painfully distracted that Jesus is holding a cell phone? Honest to God. I'm the only one that's like, you can't, that is everything. I went to Catholic school. This can't be.
I like that she specified Toronto, Canada.
Yeah.
Not Toronto, Oregon, not Toronto, Maine.
Yeah.
They can only do the podcast on Sundays because that's the only times he gets service.
I get
want a
it.
combination of the drugs that our hosts are on because I don't want to be too high like Jesus or too low like Amanda. I just want
Right.
nice in between.
Adderall, lithium. That's right there. From right to left. There you go.
Sign me up.
All right. So, guys, we've all been on the West Coast before. And, you know, the West Coast in our world stretches from San Diego up to Vancouver. Now, you got to think, what kind of culture shock is there to move from Vancouver to LA? It must be crazy, right?
Kind of lucky considering that Canada's like culture is pretty similar to America's, other than like lingo. Like even at work, in the workplace, like sometimes I'll say, you know, like little Canadian slang that I don't realize y'all don't say here. So
What are some examples of Canadian slang?
oh, I think
Lingo?
It might just be like the way I say it, but like we have like, so here y'all call them like bathrobes. We have house coats. Or like beanies are toques. So toques, yeah, is a hat. So like,
Love
I
that.
like that one.
yeah,
That's
they're like,
awesome.
oh, you need a toque, and they're like, what is that? And I'm like, oh shoot, I'm not in the right country right now.
Fascinating to go on.
There's nothing off limits on this show.
Jesus was so excited about it. He's like, what? What do you call them? It's amazing.
They're going to double the hits on this when they hashtag no holds barred.
Watch out.
I love
So-
nerds.
So Gay Jesus is very excited to learn about all this Canadian
Redundant.
culture that he's learning about. Redundant. I get it.
It's so fascinating to me how, you know, we all share a common language, but little
different.
bits and pieces
Yeah.
of terminology. Like
Right.
if you were to have said, for example, a toque, I'd be like, I have no idea. what
No,
you're talking
yeah,
about.
it's a strange little word.
But this is exciting. I'm glad that this can be a learning experience.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know I was going to get a dose of Canadian
Yeah, there you
culture.
go.
And
You're welcome.
I already feel more worldly. to
I
be
do
honest.
too.
Anyone else feeling more worldly?
Yeah.
He froze it perfectly. Look, he's like, look at Jesus right now. He's like, let me check my phone for more gold. He's mining for more gold, right? Oh, this next one.
He's looking at toques.
He's just stopping.
All right. This is the longest question ever, and it could be probably 5 words. But they find a way to make this a run-on paragraph for some reason. I'm not sure what they were thinking with this.
So I wanted to ask, like, what do you like the most about like Los Angeles? Like, what about living here really kind of like does it for you? You know, lots of people come to Los Angeles for tons of different reasons. You know, I came here for school originally, and now look at me doing this podcast. Like, who would have thought?
Wait, did he say he came here for school? That's what I heard. I came here for school. All right, let me back up. This question's still going.
The different reasons. You know, I came here for school originally, and now look at me doing this podcast. Like, who would would have thought, right?
Right.
But I was just curious, like, what does LA like mean to you?
Yeah.
That's two
What
different
is it like?
questions.
How many parts was that question?
How do you even answer that? What does LA mean to you?
What do you like about LA? Schmidt, 1911 to 12. Where the fuck did that even go?
So enough about me.
So then this idiot that they're interviewing talks about how LA's amazing because you can meet people randomly, which doesn't happen anywhere else in the world. It only happens in LA that you meet people. And so she explains how she met Amanda Bynes, which is just fascinating.
I mean, like, even how we met. Like, I don't know if you remember. It was a
Yes,
while
I
ago.
do.
But like,
do you want to
just-
talk about that?
Yeah, we can. Absolutely.
Okay.
I would love to hear
Oh
this
my
story.
gosh, how we met.
So, how we met, it was Halloween or near Halloween, and I went to a Halloween spirit store,
Yep.
and I was working on a fragrance at the time, and I was with my ex-fiance, Paul Michael, and I spotted Dahlia, who was working behind the cash register, and I said to Paul at the time, do you think she's a model? She's so pretty. And he's like, yeah, I bet she is. And we needed a model for the perfume to be like the face of the fragrance, and so I approached Dahlia and asked her if she was a model and if she'd be interested in doing the fragrance, and she said she would. We exchanged phone numbers and have stayed in touch ever since.
Ever since. It was such like a weird, just like bumped into each other and then just like things clicked. But like that's LA. Like that's what's so beautiful about LA.
I love that story.
Oh shit. And the guest is another person that sounds like they're constantly about to start crying.
Yes. Well, it's funny how, like, when you're a hot chick, people want to talk to you and ask you to do things. It's so weird. It only happens in LA, though. Nowhere else. You're a hot chick and you meet people who want to talk to you. Go figure.
Amanda Bynes approaches you at a Spirit Halloween store, or a former Planet Fitness. That's otherworldly. That's not LA.
First thing that she said to her is, like, "Did you get that costume from here?"
Yes, exactly. I'd be like, get away from me. What are you?
Tell me you bottomed out and don't have a personal assistant without telling me you bottomed out and don't have a personal assistant. How did you meet? We were Halloween shopping.
At a Spirit Halloween.
Yeah.
Be better than a Spirit Halloween, Amanda
Yeah.
Bynes. At least Amazon, order it online. Don't go out in public.
So you guys obviously loved that story. It was a great story. But Paul, Gay Jesus, loves that story more than
I'm like, who's
more
Paul?
than anyone.
Oh, he's
Say
laughing and
redundant
clapping.
again.
Since
Redundant.
I love that story, by the way. That's so funny.
Yeah. Back
Thank
before.
you, Spirit Halloween
Thank you,
Store,
Spirit Halloween.
for
We love
bringing
that.
us all together.
Exactly.
This is so incredible.
It never stopped.
I'm glad that Paul enjoyed that story because I did not. I didn't
This
give
show
a
is
fuck
sponsored
about
by
it.
Spirit Halloween.
All right. Now, I know what you guys are all thinking. Because we're
No,
having this
you don't.
conversation. I know what you're thinking, Gino. We're having this conversation, but she hasn't mentioned which tattoo shop she works at yet. So we need to know which tattoo shop she works at.
What shop do you work at?
I work at the California Dream in North Hollywood.
Oh, great.
Yeah. I love
That's
it there.
awesome.
Oh, great.
Okay.
She's a robot, right? This isn't a real person that's talking to her.
She's taking her medication, clearly.
She's right there with Britney Spears. She's just one of the defective robots, the Britney Spears robot, not the
Yes.
the Stephen Colbert one, who's also in Guantanamo Bay. This one just seems defective. They're working out the kinks in this one.
Yes, I think so. Oh, great. That's awesome. All right, we got to reprogram this one. It's all she says is that's awesome over and over again. It's not working out. All right.
Gay Jesus hits her on the side to break the loop.
Now, you guys are going to be shocked by this, but Gay Jesus is into tattoos, but he wants stupid tattoos. I know, it's shocking.
I hope you'll be okay with the fact that like some of the tattoos I want to get are like really stupid.
I love
Like-
that.
I can't
honestly,
imagine them being
it's
stupid.
the better.
Oh, I can. So
What are they?
my biggest innovation right now is I really, really, really want to get an @ sign on my pointer finger so I can point
At you.
at you.
Okay. I like it.
Pretty good stuff. Pretty good stuff there, buddy. Wow, it adds on your finger.
You know,
So
Hilarious.
pleased.
what would have been great if it's like, I'm Jewish, my dad won't let me get a tattoo.
They'll never bury me in a Jewish cemetery.
Yeah.
They want to put him in a cave.
Yeah.
That's where you're gonna die at.
Stupid.
Now, guys, you might think, okay, that tattoo's hilarious, and I hope that you do that. Well, you don't realize he already has hilarious tattoos on him, and he's going to demonstrate one of them here.
This tattoo that I
Yes,
have
let's see it.
is definitely, I don't even know if you can see this camera. There's my ellipses.
Like the dot, like waiting.
Yeah,
Oh, I
and
love
you know,
that.
I got this tattoo. It's stick and poke. I got this tattoo because I wanted to be able to be like ... whenever there's like a lull in the conversation.
That's retarded. All right.
Could you imagine? He's got to explain that to people. Guys, I'm doing a joke right now. Check this out. It's not working.
What happened to your arm?
He could literally do that in marker every morning.
Yes.
I guarantee they charged him like $1,000. Oh, this is so cerebral. Something like that's like $1,000 in LA.
Well, it's funny you say that, Gino, because there are people who don't realize that that's even a tattoo on him.
Yes, because I've literally had people look at that tattoo and be like, is that a birthmark? And I'm like, look at it for another like 10 seconds and then decide if you want to actually ask me that question.
Yeah.
Like,
He got a tattoo to point out awkward silences.
He uses it a lot.
Yes, he must use it a lot. What on earth?
I have to look at that tattoo for 10 seconds in order to figure this out.
To get your shitty joke, Jesus?
Yeah, I'm
Get out
over
of
it.
my face. Oh my God.
All right. So obviously we're the idiots because we don't get that joke, and he's hilarious. And so now he's going to talk about how not only are people confused about his ellipsis tattoo, but they're also confused about his face tattoos.
I also get like with my face tattoos, people ask me all the time, like, are those makeup? Like, did you
paint them on?
Do you draw those on with like an eyeliner pencil? And I'm always like,
nope, they're just there.
no, they're on there
They're
forever.
here to stay. That's kind of nice. So you wake up and you're just feeling like fancy.
I love my face tattoos.
Could you imagine asking this asshole about his face tattoos? The only thing I would ever say to this guy is fuck off. There's no way I would ask him a question about his tattoos.
The only question I would ask him is, are we done here?
Yeah, right. Are we good?
Think about it.
Valid question.
All right. So Amanda now, so they're having a real conversation back and forth. Amanda has to go back to her pre-written questions and break this whole thing up. Because you notice Amanda's just like watching this whole time. She has no idea what's going on. So she's got an amazing pre-written question.
Let's see. Are you a night owl or a early bird? Sorry to jump right back
No,
into
you're
the
good.
question.
I love it.
There was an awkward silence, so I thought I would jump in.
We love that.
Awkward silence.
Hold it up. Get it? That's the punchline.
That should be the name of this podcast.
Are you a early bird or a... And she had to like go back to her phone and look at it again. She's like, are you an early bird or a night owl? What's wrong with her? You know what? This actually brings up something that we don't talk about enough.
Drugs are bad. You shouldn't do drugs.
I mean, Amanda is proving that drugs are bad and you shouldn't do drugs. It's very bad for you. All right. So, for whatever reason, gay Jesus decides to answer this question, which it wasn't meant for him, but he's going to answer anyway.
I am such a night person. It's like not even funny. Like I will go to bed at like 4, which is really funny because like, for example, like this morning, like I went over to hang out with Amanda for a little bit before we went over to get started here. And like, I got there and you had your makeup done. You looked amazing. You're wearing an awesome outfit. You like went out, got us iced coffee. And I'm like, I just kind of like got out of bed. Like I'll do my makeup right before we like. I don't know.
I never thought I'd say this, but Jesus is an asshole.
Jesus sucks.
Oh, for the first time, I'm on the Roman side.
At least we don't have to see this Jesus get nailed.
Oh my God. Why does he make that about him? He's like, I'm just so you guys know, I stay up really late at night. No, I would have guessed that. That sounds
And
about right.
whatever, we all have sleep habits. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, who gives a shit?
I'm sure your peak
and-
grinder hours are like 2, 3 a.m.
He's wearing a nightgown, for Christ's sake.
It's called a
He's
robe.
wearing a skirt.
Yes,
What the fuck outfit is that?
I know. And then he's like,
It's called a house coat in Canada.
I know it's a toque. Great.
Okay. Now, obviously, we've watched a lot of this podcast together, and we're all thinking the same thing. This has been so much fun. What a great show.
Beautiful.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Dahlia, for being our first guest on our podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
We
Loved
had
having you on the show.
So much fun.
So much
You're
fun.
an absolute delight. I hope everybody goes and follows Dahlia.
Yeah,
This was such a lovely, exquisite
I
experience.
love it. And make sure y'all follow for the next episodes too. I'm excited to see what you guys do with this.
Something else.
I am gobsmacked. I'm speechless at what I am watching. She picked her up at a Spirit Halloween store
Yes.
over Planet Fitness, and she's regretting her decisions. What am I seeing? What?
This is so. Earlier, I was down there with Frank and you guys, and we were talking about the show we were going to do in Fealty, and I was getting some pushback. Like, well, Carl, it's her first podcast. You know, what do you want from her? It's her first podcast. It's not going to get better.
No.
This is not going to become a good show.
It's the end.
I
In
will
40
watch every
episodes.
episode. It's a hit. It is a hit. You can make more money with a flop than you can with a hit, as they say, and that is this.
That's
Oh my
true.
God. Don't
That's
change
true.
a thing, Amanda.
I will say the Drew and Mike show played this podcast all the way through and just listened to it before it was a YouTube video. And that's what inspired me to check this out, because I was like, wow, this is like the worst thing I've ever heard. And I've heard a lot of bad podcasts. It's kind of my job. So that's saying something.
Who are these podcasts?